Hi everyone, and welcome to the University of California, Santa Barbara presentation. My name is Cuca Acosta. I'm the Assistant Director in charge of freshman enrollment here at UCSB. And for the next hour, we're going to be friends. Yes, hola, bonjour, ni hao, hayakasai, and all of those other fun welcomes. So how this works is simple. You in the little text box will ask questions, and then when I see those questions, will answer them. Now, I already asked some of my friends as I'm going through college fairs this season, what questions do you have for UCSB? And most of them have been about the application. So I thought what we would do is talk a little bit about Santa Barbara, of course, that's important, but also talk about the application process and how it pertains to UCSB. So to start off with, you all know that there are 9 University of California campuses. Well, Santa Barbara happens to be the middle child in the University of California. We have about 22,000 students total registered. In the University of California campus system, Santa Barbara is also the undergraduate focused campus. About 19,000 of our students are working on their bachelor's degree. Yep, they're just like you, either coming out to spend the last 2 years as they transfer in or spending 4 years as they come out of high school. The University of California, Santa Barbara really is looking at students graduating in that 4-year time span or that 2-year time span, depending on whether or not you're a freshman or transfer student. I promise to love you, yes, love you for 2 or 4 years as you work on your bachelor's degree and become very successful. Now, like our other sister campuses, we deal with one University of California application, the University of California application, sometimes called the UC Common App. Now, the University of California application is active for the class of 2014. Oh no, is that you? Yes, if you are a senior or if you're looking to transfer this year, the application opened October 1st. Now, for those of you who are juniors or thinking of the transfer path later on, your application will open August 1st. That's right, people. There's a change. Your application will open August 1st for the class of 2015 or later. But let's talk about you now for those of you who are looking to apply this year. When it comes to the application, we all use the University of California application. If you're unsure about our timeline, then let me share it with you. November 1st through November 30th. Let me repeat, November 1st, but no later than November 30th, that University of California application is going to be submitted. Now, you push the submit button only once on that UC application. We will get a copy of that application if you've selected Santa Barbara as a campus you wish to apply to. Now, the University of California application at Santa Barbara will cost students $70 per campus, so $70 for Santa Barbara, $70 for LA, $70 for Davis, etc., etc. For my international people, hello international students, you're an $80 fee. Sorry. Now, when it comes to the application, you submit in November. No early action. Oh, no. No early decision. I don't think so. Any day in November works perfectly fine by us. Now, if you looked at a calendar lately, you know November 28th is Thanksgiving. So late. Yes, it is. November 28th is Thanksgiving. I won't talk to you if you call me. I'm going to be watching football and eating turkey, maybe some ham if I'm lucky. So that means you can't ask me questions on November 28th. Well, what about Friday, November 29th? No, I'm going to be in a food coma. I won't talk to you then either. No. Well, how about Saturday, November 30th, the last day to turn in the application? No, I won't talk to you on the 30th either because I'm going to have a Saturday off. So, if you need to ask us questions, you should note that your unofficial deadline is the 27th, that Wednesday. But note that the University of California is open with regard to their email, and you can ask the general application site. I'll show you that information later. So, you're turning in an application to Santa Barbara. You're going to select one of our 3 colleges. Within our 3 colleges, we have listed more than 100 majors. Now, if you have a specific major in mind, let me know. Otherwise, realize we look at and are selective in our College of Engineering. Oh, where my future engineers at? Hello. Hola. My future engineers should note that we will be looking at your intended engineering major. I am going to ask you to select one of our 5 engineering programs on that UC application to Santa Barbara. Chemical, electrical, mechanical, computer engineering, or computer science are all acceptable to us. They're the 5 core programs that we offer at UCSB. If you are an engineer and you're going, oh, I'm excited, welcome, I'm ready, save my spot. Well, honey, are you a really strong guy or girl in mathematics? I hope so. Why? Because I'll be looking for your math proficiency. Honey, I'm looking for math, some math, and then some more math. That's right. I'm looking for math when it comes to the College of Engineering. Now, my transfer students should be doing this with regards to their math coursework, that calculus and a whole bunch of other stuff, physics and so on and so forth. My freshman applicants, I'm looking for pre-calculus, hopefully calculus by senior year, and really pretty grades in those math classes as well. Now, as we look at students outside of engineering in the College of Creative Studies, we do have a supplemental application. Now, I want to point out that our supplemental application will be due on UC Santa Barbara's campus by the month of December. That's right, the month of December. December is also the month in which you're going to submit any official test scores. So as I'm pointing out here, December is the month for our supplement to the College of Creative Studies, as well as your SAT or ACT exams. One of those 2 for freshman applicants. Transfer students, no SAT required for you guys. Now, you also will find that we have a 3rd college, the College of Letters and Science. This college has 80 programs, and for my freshman applicants, undeclared is an option. Transfer, oh no, honey, you cannot come in undeclared. You must tell me which program you want to study. Economics, biology, history, theater, dance, music, you've got to tell me which of those programs is right for you as a transfer student. My freshmen, you can tell me if you have an idea, or you can say, I don't know. Don't make me choose. And I won't, because most students find themselves changing their major often, anywhere between 3 to 4 times between freshman and sophomore year. So we've decided not to admit by major and not make you choose, because you're gonna change your mind anyways. When it comes to UCSB, 1 in 4 freshmen is undeclared this year. So again, I really don't care if you're undeclared. But I do highly recommend any student who's interested in science to tell me, I want to study science. Biology, chemistry, physics, choose one at random. All of my science coursework starts with the same freshman year curriculum, so you can change your mind easily. Okay, so you're filling out an application now, you're going to do it in the fall of your senior year. You're going to apply in November. You're going to send me test scores in December. And then my transfer students, you actually go back into the application in January to submit your fall grades. Once you do that, we start telling students of their decision in March. Transfer students will continue to talk to you through April, and then by May 1st we'll have all of our decisions posted, and that's our statement of intent to register deadline for freshmen. June 1st is the deadline for transfer students. When it comes to freshman admission, we're going to do what's called a freshman selection process that allows us to look at grades and test scores, and then what we're going to do with that is we're going to look at a comprehensive review. All right, people, raise your hand if you know what that means. Anyone? No? Oh, no one ever does, and that's okay. Let me explain it to you. Comprehensive review allows me in the admissions office, hello, hola, your freshman admissions reader, to get to know you. And the you that is in the classroom, so that means grades, it means your classes. So did you take a 4th year of math? Did you take a 3rd year of language? The answer is yes. I'm going to go, nice, check mark right there. You did something extra. I'm looking at you in the testing arena, SAT, ACT. Did you take those additional subject tests or maybe an advanced placement exam? Ooh, girl, check. I'm going to give you credit for what you've done academically. But I also want to know who you are outside of the classroom. Because I don't just want you to be a good student on my campus, I also want you to contribute to the diversity of my student body. And oftentimes that doesn't mean being in the classroom, it means being part of my students' organizations, of which Santa Barbara, there are more than 500 student organizations. It could mean that you're part of my fraternities or sororities. UCSB has 40 Greek organizations. Currently, I believe there are 22 sororities and 18 fraternities. It could mean that you're doing my education abroad program. Oh, I love our education abroad program. The University of California Education Abroad program is housed on the UC Santa Barbara campus, and there are more than 300 partnerships with within 40 countries. When it comes to our students, we want them to get involved in multiple aspects. Maybe it's leadership, maybe it's community service. And well, you're going to start showing me that interest in high school. Within your application, I'm able to see what you've done outside of the classroom, and then my goal, my ambition is that you continue those activities, or you at least continue that pattern of activity within our University of California campus. So this means that when I'm looking at your application, Santa Barbara will look at these components in 2 equal parts. So 50% of what we're going to look at is going to be academic in nature. So GPA, test scores, the coursework you took. Again, did you take 3 Spanish classes or 4? Did you take 3 math classes or 5? Did you take 1 science class or 7? I'm looking at the strength of your coursework and how you've challenged yourself. And I'm going to give you credit based off of what was available to you. Now, please don't get it twisted. I am not looking for a checklist of, oh, who did this and who did that. I instead want to see what was available to you and how did you challenge yourself. Oftentimes what I love is that students will say, hey, I love languages. Hola, bonjour, ni hao, hayagasai. I love languages. I do not like science. Oh no, this face is not a science face. So challenge yourself in areas of your strength with the knowledge that we won't compare you to one another. And you shouldn't compare yourselves to each other either. Please. So again, strength of your coursework, what you've done, how you've done it. But then again, non-academic factors. So this is where you tell me I'm involved in this club or this sport or this community service or this church group. Yes, people, you could be involved in things outside of your high school as well. Santa Barbara doesn't have a list of activities you need to do. Instead, I'm hoping you're going to tell me what was available to you. Now, for my students outside of California, this is extremely important. Don't guess that I know what your organizations are. Really lay them out for me. Now, I've gotten a few questions, so I'm going to go ahead and start looking at those. So one question I'm seeing is, how often is it for out-of-state students to receive a scholarship to reduce out-of-state costs? Well, that's financial aid, so I'm going to definitely cover that. I'll answer this first. Any U.S. resident, regardless of where they're residing, be it California, Texas, Wyoming, it doesn't matter, but any U.S. resident is eligible for our merit aid. They're also eligible to file the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, and as such, they're eligible for federal financial aid. Oftentimes students will find that these particular merit scholarships, they're going, where do I apply? Where do I sign up? And my answer is, you don't have to. You've worked really hard. You've done all of these wonderful courses. You've scored well. So merit scholarships at Santa Barbara are automatically reviewed based off of you applying to UCSB. Nothing to check off, no extra paperwork to fill out. You're welcome. Now, when it comes to students who are not U.S. residents, we do have a global scholars program. It's not that robust. I'll be honest, it's not a lot of money, but it is a merit scholarship. You'll find all of these scholarships listed under our financial aid scholarship link. You'll find that on www.finaid.ucsb.edu. That's right, www.finaid.ucsb.edu. Now, when it comes to the application, I have another question, so let me make sure I answer it. And that question is, quote, How many hours of community service do I need in order to be competitive for your school? Honey, no, no, no. Remember, we don't have a checklist. So if you have 0 hours of community service, that's okay. I'm not mad at you. If you have 5,000 hours of community service, I'm going to go, wow, I want to be you when I grow up. So I don't have a list of minimums for extracurricular activities. Realize some of us should never play a sport in public. Oh no, this is not a space that should belong anywhere near a soccer, basketball, tennis, or any other type of activity that makes you sweat. Oh no, I don't do that. But for those of you that are great athletes, awesome. Is it high school? Is it club? Is it both? Realize that I'm asking questions like, what type of activity did you do? If it was a club, how many members? Do you have a leadership role? Oh, you do? Awesome. What type of leadership role? Oh, you're responsible for being president? Great. What does that mean at your school? Being president, does that mean that you're just sitting there with a little gavel going, call to order? Or are you the person who's responsible for fundraising? Are you the person who's responsible for the national conference? Tell me. Make sure I know those details, because if you don't tell me, I won't give you credit. What? I know, that's crazy. Why? Because we don't read letters of recommendation. You heard me right. We do not read letters of recommendation. We do not read your resume if you send it. Oh no, there's an application section for that. Fill in my application. Well, what about the interview? No interviews. No. Maybe when I call you to clarify, I won't call. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We only read your application. Nothing more, nothing less. In the application, you get to share all of this type of information. So please, please, please share it. Note that the application really should be about sharing details and information. Now, where do you share it? Well, there's 9 sections to the University of California application. 9 sections. There are 9 places on our application where you're able to share this type of information. Things like the About You section, where you talk about who you are, your family, your income. Activities and awards, where you share all those clubs, sports, community services. The personal statement. Oh, I love the personal statement. It is my favorite part of the application. Maybe you share it in testing, AP, IB, all those optional exams. You definitely will share it in the academic section, where you talk about your A through G, or your academic courses, your grades, and all of that fun stuff. Realize that, again, this is the only thing we read, so you need to be very cognizant of how you share information. You need to ask yourself, what does a stranger need to know about me? All right, there are so many more questions coming in, so I'm going to scroll through them very quickly. I do have a question with regards to grades. Okay, perfect. It says, I received a D in a class, but I retook it. How will you look at that? Ooh, good question. So if you had a difficulty, maybe it's a D or an F, or if you had to switch classes because you weren't doing well, you had a C and you were scared it would turn into a D. Realize that in the application, you have a space where you can share this type of information. It's called the additional comments. Yep, the additional comments box on the University of California application in 2 spaces. There's an additional comments box that is under the academic history section, so right here. This is 550 words where that type of information should be shared. I retook my blah blah blah, my chemistry class that I failed in junior year, blah 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 blah. This is the reason why I retook it. Here's what I did. I passed it. Yay! So that type of information. Or maybe you had a bad semester. All of your grades are showing as a little bit more difficult than you wanted them to. That's the type of information you share within the application. And then if you did have an improvement, you definitely want to share that with us. You don't want to assume, oh, well, they're going to read and see the good grades, follow the bad grades. Oh, no, people, don't assume anything. You need to share it all with us. There were 3 more questions, so let me quickly scroll through those. Let's see, it says, hi, how easy is it to overlook a poor GPA from early on due to illness if the student improved and the ACT is about 30. All right, so good question. Let's talk a little bit about how we review applications so that you can see that. I want to point out, again, 50% of our review is academic, so GPA and test score. A 30 is great. It's a little bit above our average score from last year's admitted freshmen. GPA and test score get looked at hand in hand as part of our academic. They really are weighted against each other, so depending on where one falls, the other one may balance it. When it comes to the academics and poor GPA to start off with, this is a hard one because I don't look at multiple GPAs. I look at the sophomore and junior year combined. That's 10th and 11th grade together are your University of California GPA. So as I'm looking at these together, that is the GPA that is going to be used. So if you do have some bad grades, some C's, some D's, maybe an F, if you didn't retake the course before senior year, your GPA will suffer, period. If you did retake the course, good job. Hopefully you passed. And if you did, then realize we'll get rid of the bad grades, only leaving your good grades, your passing grades within the application review. Now, as stated, 50% is academic, so the other 50% is non-academic. And oftentimes, these non-academic factors are in three main sections of your application: the About You section, activities and awards, and the personal statement. Now, as someone who reads applications, yes, someone who reads applications, I typically start off by looking at your grades, your test scores, just to get an idea, are you eligible for admission? And then I go into the About You tab to find out more about you. That's right, more about you and your family, so that I can set the context of your accomplishments. At UCSB, all of our staff will read your application. Let me rephrase that. All applicants are read twice by our staff. So when it comes to Santa Barbara, one half of the office is doing that academic review. The other half of our office is doing the non-academic review. And within non-academic, 2 people are reading every application. So that means at least 3 people are touching your application before a decision is made. And no one person has the authority to say you're admitted or you're denied. On our campus, it really is a comprehensive, a holistic review that allows everyone an equal opportunity for admission. Aw, isn't that sweet of us? Now, within the application, what we're doing in the About You section is trying to figure out income. All right, so what was the income? If you're a billionaire, that's right, I said billionaire with a B, great. I'm not going to hold it against you, but now I know you had lots of opportunities available to you. What did you do with them? If you have no billions, if you have no millions, if you're lucky, if there's $1,000 in your account, then what I'm looking at is like, great, okay, so what did you do based off of no money? So again, I don't look at money as a factor to admit or deny you. Instead, I look at it in the context of what was available to you because of those resources. I look at your parent income, I look at your first language spoken. All of this is trying to form a picture of who you are. Now, I also look at what you've done outside of the classroom, and 3 words pop into my head: commitment, progression, and leadership. When I'm looking at these 3 words, what I'm trying to grasp is, okay, what did you do? From your activities, why did you do them? How did you learn from them? So commitment, multiple years of the same activity make me happy. It shows that you're going to come to UCSB and you're going to stick it out to graduate. Progression. It means that you're going to learn and grow from your activities. So you're going to go from freshman year to sophomore year, from sophomore year to junior year, from junior year you're going to go be a senior and you're going to walk in your cap and gown and you're going to look so cute and I'm going to go yay and I'm going to cry and I'm going to be excited. Progression shows that you're able to move forward and learn from your past and move forward to your present. Leadership. Oh my God, I love leadership. Team captain, class president, all of those titles are great, but don't forget about the non-titled leadership roles. I babysit my little siblings. People, that's leadership. Yes, you in charge of another human being is leadership. Make sure you add that to your application. Maybe you're Bible study leader. Maybe you're responsible for doing a research project for your English teacher. All of those are leadership roles. So as long as you add them, I can give you credit for them. All right, let me go back to my questions. All right, next question. Oh, very simple question. When you're calculating the GPA, is it weighted or unweighted? Very good question. And the answer is weighted. We'll weight the GPA, again, from 10th and 11th grade. We are going to weight the GPA based on advanced placement, international baccalaureate, and or college coursework that you may have completed in those 2 years. And for California students, I'm going to add any UC approved honors coursework as well. Now remember, not every class is UC approved for California. Sorry. Okay. More questions. Let's see. When students apply and calculate the UC GPA, do you use summer classes? Yes. So that's a great question. And realize we calculate your GPA. We calculate your GPA. You won't do it. You won't add a GPA to your application. Now, when we are looking at your GPA, we will use the summer after freshman year, the summer after sophomore year, and the summer after junior year. So 3 summers, 2 academic years equal your University of California GPA. Again, weighted. All right, so we've talked about the About You section. Keep asking questions, guys. I'm going to keep on answering them as they come in. You're also going to find that when it comes to me trying to figure out who you are and what you've done, I'm going to look at activities and awards, which is a section in the application that highlights your extracurriculars. This is your resume, you guys. Remember, you don't send one to us. Instead, from the application, I try to piece together what you did outside of the classroom. Within your application, you're able to fill out 6 sections. Non-A through G coursework. So this means yearbook, teacher's aid, health, PE. Those classes that you won't find in the other section but took up your time are non-A through G. And I'll give you credit for taking them. You're also going to find things like educational preparation programs, Upward Bound, AVID, Cal SOAP, Early Academic Outreach, Educational Talent Search, the Fulfillment Fund. All of these are educational preparation programs. If you've been asking yourself, what is she talking about? You weren't in one, you can skip this. It's okay to skip one of these because they're not mandatory to submit. They are additional or extra things that you could have done in high school. I am also looking at community service. Oh, I love community service. If you were involved in your community, don't just tell me I volunteered. That's all well and good, but tell me what you did when you were volunteering. Were you in charge of the soup kitchen and cleaning up? Were you the person who was helping out at the after school program? Were you tutoring in math? Details, people, details. I want them, please, 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 when it comes to your volunteer work. Work experience. Again, did you have a job? And it could have been babysitting your sibling. It could have been bagging groceries, or you could have had the most important job in the world, which is my Starbucks barista. If you had a job and you, in any way, shape, or form, were working, even if it was unpaid, then you should report it under work experience. Honors and awards are just that. First place violin, Eagle Scout. Now, for those of you who ask, and I know one of you will ask, oh, but I haven't finished my Eagle Scout project. I will in January. So should I add it? Should you add it? Look at my face. Yes, anything that takes up your time should be added to your application. Even the things you haven't done in senior year yet. You are to project the end of senior year, spring sports, additional community service, your job, etc. We're going to take it with a grain of salt because we know you haven't done it yet, but we want to know what you're expecting to do as a senior. And then, of course, the infamous additional extracurricular activities. Now, this could be volleyball, swimming, cross-country, track. It could be Mesa. It could be you're part of a whole bunch of things. I want you guys to realize that within the application for Santa Barbara specifically, when we read this, we don't Google anything. So if you tell me I'm part of Mesa, is that the Math, Engineering, Science Achievement Program, or were you part of the Multicultural Educational Student Alliance? I don't know, and I won't guess. So you don't get credit unless you specifically lay out what you've done. Let's see, there's another question. Is there a lot of support for out-of-state students? Support meaning scholarships. And how much is tuition for an out-of-state student? So first of all, there is support for students. You're going to find that we do, again, any U.S. resident or any student who is an international student will find themselves eligible for merit aid. U.S. residents are also eligible for full financial aid, and merit students will find themselves internationally eligible for our Global Scholars Program. When it comes to tuition, our California students are paying about $34,000 a year. That's books, supplies, tuition, health insurance, transportation, food, the whole enchilada. You're going to find that when it comes to my non-California students, you guys are paying about $57,000 a year. Again, everything from non-resident fees, in-state fees, tuition, books, supplies, student health, everything, transportation, it's all part of that budget. You'll see the budget on our financial aid page, and I'll make sure to share that with you guys. Okay, so we've talked about our activities and awards. We talked about all of that fun stuff. Well, here's what you need to know. At Santa Barbara, after we've read through your application to figure out what you've done and how you've done it, we then go to your personal statement. Your personal statement, 2 questions that you have to answer. Yes, 2 questions that you have to answer. You don't have a choice. You have to answer both. You get 1,000 words total. That's right, 1,000 words total to respond to both questions. If you end up spending 700 words on response number 1, you've left yourself up to 300 words for response number 2. So total, you get 1,000, not per response. In the application, this is not an essay. This is not an essay. This is not an essay. It is your interview with us. And as such, it really should be used in order to share more information. I want to know who you are. Okay, you are telling me what's available to you. Now tell me why you did what you did. Why did you choose ballet over the dance academy? Why did you choose to be part of MESA, the math engineering, over MESA, the multicultural? Why did you... Yeah, you're getting the picture, right? Why? 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 Pourquoi? Why? ¿Por qué? Why? In the application, I don't get to actually do that. So I want you guys to share it with me in the personal statement. Now, 2 questions, and when I'm looking at the questions, I'm asking myself again 3 things. Number 1, is this going to add clarity? Clarity. Do I get to understand why you did what you did? Will it add depth? That's right, depth. Some more detail so that I understand what was available to you, how you did what you did, what role you really took. And then, of course, context. Context being, okay, set the bar. What does it mean to be a student in Texas and football is your sport? Ooh, explain it, because I've only seen the movies. Are they right or are they wrong? What does it mean to be a student in Colorado and you just went through the worst floods of the last 50 years? What does that mean? What does it mean to be a student in Vancouver and there's 12 feet of snow that come in? Tell me these things. Don't assume that I will look it up. Don't guess. Now, there are 2 questions. Question number 1 is, of course, to describe the world you come from. How has your world shaped your dreams and aspirations? Question number 2 is to tell us about a talent, experience, a personal quality, a contribution that you've had that's been important to you and why it was important. 2 things, people. Number 1, you don't get to choose between them. You better make sure that you're answering them as if me, Kuka, is asking you in person. If I were standing in front of you, which would be really scary, but if I were standing in front of you going, describe the world you come from. How has your world shaped your dreams and aspirations? Yes, in that tone exactly. If I were asking you that question, how would you answer? You wouldn't go, well, as I walk through the meadow and the flower breeze. No. Creative writing, imagery. These are all huge no-nos, people, and I hope you avoid them. Are you getting the idea that I don't want you to do this? There are many things you should not do in a personal statement. Here are a few of them. Don't be campus specific, people. It's a University of California application. So if you tell me, all of my life I've wanted to go to UCSB, go Gauchos! I will be excited for 30 seconds, but I will not use that in your review. And then when Berkeley gets your application, they're like, well, I'm not a Gaucho. They're going to go, sadness. So please don't be campus specific. It cannot help you on the campus you're trying to get into. It will not help you on the campuses that you have as backup either. You do not want to use creative writing. I have no sense of humor when it comes to reading applications. None. Nada. Zip. I'm just trying to find who you are, what you've done, why you've done it, what you've learned. Period. In the application, the personal statement really should not be storytelling. I don't care what day of the week it was. I don't care what your hair looked like. I have no desire to know the temperature, what you were wearing, or anything else, because it's not storytelling. It's not about you making general assumptions either. So avoid general statements. A general statement is they, we. It's commonly known as. Avoid general statements by starting your personal statement with I. I have achieved. I believe. I dream of. I desire. I've overcome. Or my goals, my ambitions, my aspirations. I and my are great ways to start a personal statement. And oftentimes when your English teacher reads it, they're going to go, oh, no, I don't like it. Don't do it. Does your English teacher have a British accent? Any case, realize that this is not an essay. It's not an essay. So you can use I as many times as you'd like because you're talking to me, the admissions counselor. We're having a conversation, except I'm not asking you the depth of questions that you might have if I were in front of you. You don't have to have a hard luck story in order for me to like you. At Santa Barbara, happy students are admitted at the same rate as depressed students. So if your life was rainbows and fairy tales and magic unicorns, awesome. Share that with me. If your life isn't that, if you ride the bus 35 minutes every day to get to school, if you go to bed and there are bars on your windows and you're scared to go out after dark because there's gunfire, share that with me too. Now, there is no preference between the two. It's really about who do I get to know? What was available to you? What did you take advantage of? Don't forget. Let's see, more questions have come in, so let me make sure that I answer those before I move on. Let's see, the next question is, do you guys care about online type experiences, such as a successful YouTube channel or a great eBay sale? Ooh, interesting. If you spend your time online doing eBay sales, you have a job, you made $30,000 last year on selling just stuff, you better share that with me. If it's a part-time job, it takes more than an hour a week, if it takes an hour a week, you better share that with me. Online experiences like a YouTube channel, things that you've built a cult following, share it with me. I'm not going to tell you that that's the reason you're going to get admitted. It might not be, but it takes up your time. And that's how I'm trying to figure out, what did you do? What was available to you? So if you're the online junkie, share it with me, please. Let's see. What if you're the only one in a honors class? Do you mention it? Ooh, okay, that's weird that you're the only person in an honors class, but I'm going to go with it. So if you're asking if you're the only person of that ethnicity in an honors class, you better share that with me. I will personally explain this. This is my own story. So I went to a high school where the majority of AP students were not like me. They were not Mexican. It was a little hard. I'm not going to lie. The class itself was hard because it was advanced placement, but it was also hard not seeing anyone who looked like you in your classes. And that affects you as a student, as a human being, as, just someone who comes to school every day. You can share that type of information. Again, additional comments or as a personal statement. Now, for those of you, again, everybody is rainbows and butterflies and everybody does look like you and you had a great experience. Move on. Because if it's not a problem or if it's not your daily life, then it's okay. I don't compare you guys to one another. I don't compare you guys to one more time. I don't compare you guys to one another. So stop comparing yourselves to one another. That's really important. Now, I've told you a little bit about what not to do in the personal statement. I guess I should tell you what I like to see, right? Well, at UCSB, we love to learn more about you, your family, your circumstances. As I said, do you have to take a bus for 35 minutes every morning to get to your school because it's across town? Do you go to a very diverse or a not very diverse high school? Are you the only one in your family to go to college, or the first one, I should say, to go to college? Do you speak more than one language? Are you a student who's changed high schools 5 times? Please, please share it with me, because that's the type of information that allows me to get to know you. Oftentimes, this is information that will either showcase a triumph, a success that you've had. I became an Eagle Scout. I'm a gold star for Girl Scouts. That's a success. It's a triumph. I want to celebrate it with you. Why did you choose your activity? How did you make it happen after you figured out what you wanted to do? How many hours did it actually take? I'm going to love those experiences. I am. Or you could have had a challenge, and if you did, share that with me as well. Personally, one of the things that I always tell students is I come from a single parent household. When I was in high school, it was just my mom, and that was difficult because she worked 7 days a week. Now, I didn't think it was special because most of my friends' parents work 7 days a week. Here's the deal. It's unique to me in the admissions office. So when you share, if you share what your life is like, I come from a single parent household. Mom works 7 days a week because of mom being at work 7 days a week, I have had to. Do you understand how it's become personal? You switched it from being a general statement about mom or dad, which I don't want you to focus on them. I want you to focus on you, to how that affected what you did, how you did it, and why you did it. Because of my curfew, I was not able to. Because of my multiple languages, I had to. Are you getting it? I hope you're getting it. Okay. I also love when you talk about culture. If it's pertaining to you, share it. So again, Mexican, Mise, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? I speak multiple languages. It's great. I had a really easy time with language because I did speak multiple languages. So if you're thinking, oh, well, I don't have any culture, you all have some type, Irish, Italian, Scottish, from Cuba, from Puerto Rico, like wherever you're from. If you're a mutt, if you have multiple ethnicities and they sort of all meld together and that's your life, share that with me too, if you're so inclined. Disabilities. One of the things that I heard this week as I was at a college fair and I was appalled is, I'm not going to share my learning disability with you. And I said, why? And my student said, because you're going to use it against me. No. I will not use it against you. I cannot use it against you. So if you tell me you have a learning disability, a physical disability, all I can do is set that as the context. All right, so you're dyslexic. Well, that means you have 5 extra hours of homework. It's why you only took 1 advanced placement class and not 5. I get it. I'm going to award you accurately now because you've shared that disability with me. Do I go, oh, they got a disability? No. Do I go, oh, well, they've got a physical disability. It's going to be really hard getting to class. Maybe they shouldn't be a student. No. Instead, I'm going to go, wow. They got around in a wheelchair and they had 15 extra minutes every day to get from class 1 to class 2. They were playing catch up the entire time. Wow. So again, I set the context based on the details which you share with me. Don't forget about life outside of the classroom, people. Your personal activities like church, clubs, Greek school, Chinese school, all of these should count. Anything that you've done. Now, travel. I went on a service trip to Honduras. Great. Don't just talk about the service trip. Talk about, okay, what did you learn from the trip? How were you able to fund the trip? How many people went? Was there an application process? Details. Let's see, I've got more questions, so let me go back to those. I've got a question that says, hello. I'm an English major from Senegal and graduating next year. I'm considering applying to law school. Do you have scholarships available for law school graduate students at UCSB? Santa Barbara does not have a law school on our campus. I apologize. No law school. We have a pre-law program for students who are working on their bachelor's degree and then choosing to move on to a law school on another campus. So no law school. Sorry, we have a pre-med program. We do not have a medical school. We have a pre-law program. We do not have a law school. Many of our students actually kind of love that. Let's see, more questions came in. If you took 2 college classes at the same time at 2 different college institutions, should we mention it? Also, is it hard to transfer California Community College and California State University credits to the University of California? So question number one is, if you took more than one college class at the same time, should you mention it? Yes. Sí. Definitely mention that you're taking more than one class at a college or university. If it were two different colleges, tell me why. Why did you go to Glendale and Pasadena? Why didn't you just go to one? Why did you go to Southwest and San Diego Mesa? Why not just one? Two, if you're asking about the transferring credits from a California community college, the answer is we do have articulation. Articulation means my campus has looked at that college and they've told me whether or not the class transfers. That's the first thing. And two, what it transfers into. So English 100 at or English 110 at Santa Barbara City College is the same as my freshman writing class. So you don't have to take it anymore. Woo, woo, woo. You're going to find that you'll see all of these articulated classes on assist.org. Ladies and gentlemen, that's www.assist.org. Assist.org is for any California community college, and you'll see that translation chart to us. Okay, there are more questions. Let's see. What if you speak various languages, not native languages, but others fluently? Would that matter? Yes, I love it. When did you learn the second, third, fourth, fifth language? Why did you choose those languages? How do you use them? Are you thinking of making them into your career? Share with me. I think the message is that for UCSB, the more you share with me, the more credit I can award you. So please, please, please make sure that you add that information to me. Let's see, let me clarify. So someone's saying, let me clarify. I am the only person in the honors French course. What if I am literally the only student taking that class? Wow, that is amazing. If you are the only student in an honors French course, you better tell me that. I am the only registered student in this class. They made the classes available to me. This is the curriculum. Here's the type of coursework. That is amazing and very unique. You better share that with me, student with no name. All right, we're not done, people. I want to make sure that you see what the application looks like. So again, 9 sections. When you click the personal statement tab, you're going to find that there's a box. This box will have your personal statement. Do not type into the application. Do not type into the application. Don't make me tell you again. Why? Because there's a timer. There's a 30-minute timer on the University of California application. So you want to make sure that you enter your information into a Word document. You spell check, you grammar check, and then you cut and paste your response after you've done all of that editing. Notice that there is no spell check or grammar check in the application itself. That word limit is going to be defined for you off of our application, so it tells you how many words you've already used, if you've gone over, if you can still go up to your limit. In the application, there is also a section called additional comments here. This is the second additional comments page. Oftentimes students ask me, well, what do you want to see here? This is where you can just talk about anything. So my student with no name, this is where you can tell me I'm the only student in this honors French class. There weren't enough students, but the reason I took the class was blah, 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 blah. So this is where you can add those comments. It could be bullet points of information like you see on the screen. Hey, my high school limits advanced placement to seniors, so I had to wait until senior year to take a class. Or hey, I switched high schools, here's why. Or hey, my high school curriculum is taught in French, German, Italian. Make sure you give me those details and set the context of your accomplishments. This is also where I love students who are on a unique class system. I'm on the block system. I'm on a quarter system. My high school is 300 students. We're a boarding school 4 hours north of Tacoma. Make sure you share all of these details. Don't assume we know them. Make sure you share them with us. Okay. There were more questions that came in, and I want to make sure that I hit those questions before we run out of time. It says, hello, I want to be a teacher for children with disabilities. Do you have a special education program? So my student with no name, I have a minor in education. My minor in education is housed through the Gervert School of Education. So it's a graduate degree on my campus, not undergraduate. You're going to find that it is not an ECE, an early childhood education program. it really is a minor. For my undergraduate students, you would major in anything. So if you wanted to teach junior high or high school, your major should be whatever you want to teach. So if I want to be the math teacher, my major is math. If I want to be the history teacher, my major is history, so on and so forth. And then the minor in single subject education would be there for you. If you want to teach an education in the sense of elementary school, then you would do multiple subject as your minor in education and then choose any major whatsoever. When you're looking at UCSB after you've graduated with your bachelor's degree, there's going to be the opportunity for you to apply to Gaucho School of Education. It's a 1-year teaching / master's certificate. So, sorry, 1 year master's / teaching certificate. It's a great program, amazing. Most of your internships should be with child with disabilities. So Santa Barbara's campus has the Kogel Autism Center. So that's a great place for you to intern. So options. Let's see. I've got a few more questions. Let's see. Next question is, I'm looking at your pre-med program. You stated you offered. I'm looking at your. Sorry, this is not grammatically correct. So in essence, the question is, I'm looking at your pre-med program. I'm hoping you can tell me more about your admit rates. Okay, so when it comes to the application process, we are looking at students applying to a major, pre-med, pre-law, education, minors, double majors. You don't add them on the application. Instead, if you are admitted, then you will find yourself with the opportunity for all of these programs. At Santa Barbara, oftentimes these programs are available to you based off of you just being registered, not the fact that you're in an English major or a history major or anything else. So you could be a dance major and be pre-med. That can happen. You could be an engineer and be pre-law. So many of our students find that they love this flexibility. If you didn't know, about 15% of our students graduate with multiple degrees. That's right, they add a second major once they're enrolled on my campus. I've even had triple majors. That's right, 3 college degrees, people, in 4 years. I am perplexed as to how they did it, but they did it in 4 years. They loved it. They're amazing. You're going to find that when it comes to these programs, you will add them once you're a student on our campus. All right, I've got a few more questions, so clicking on the next one. Do you have an honors program? Yes, we do. So there's a formal honors program in the College of Engineering. Students will automatically be considered for the program if they are admitted and academically they are in a certain percentage. And then there's also an honors program in the College of Letters and Science. Same concept. You are automatically admitted into the program based off of your application and your grades. Now, if you do not get selected into our honors program after freshman year at UCSB, you could be enrolled in the honors program if you have a GPA that meets the requirements. Transfer students, after your first year, your honors program option is off the table. You can always do distinction in your major, which is like an honors within your degree. Let's see, I've got more questions. Student with no name is asking, when applying, would it be harder to get into an impacted program? The answer is, I don't have impacted majors. No. For UC Santa Barbara, because we don't admit by major, we by definition don't have impacted majors. Now, we do have a selective engineering program. And the reason why I don't even call that impacted is because you could apply to engineering. And if you are not competitive, I could still admit you as undeclared or an alternate major. So when it comes to UCSB, choose whatever major you're interested in. It will not hurt you in the admissions process. But do tell me if you want to be an engineer, because there is no second option for engineering. You cannot come in undeclared and then go, never mind, I want to be an engineer, haha. I'm going to go, haha, you're not going to be. So engineers need to apply as engineering and get admitted to engineering. All other students can find themselves moving around as they see fit. You can move from economics to political science. You can move from communication to history, from philosophy to global studies. Not a problem. Okay, I've got more questions. It says, hello, do you have American Studies majors at your graduate school? Is it possible to double major? So when it comes to graduate admissions, I'm going to defer those questions to my graduate office of admission. My graduate office of admission can be found at GradDiv, that's GRAD, div.ucsb.edu, graddiv.ucsb.edu. Unfortunately, I'm the Office of Undergraduate Admissions, and those are where my answers lie. Sorry about that, guys. Blah, blah, blah. Can you major between two colleges? Yes, I have seen it. I will say that engineering and any other program is really, really hard and not done very often. It's maybe 1 in every 1,000 students that can do that. Otherwise, majoring or double majoring between colleges in the College of Letters and Science and the College of Creative Studies can be done. Double majoring within a college is also possible. About 15% of students in the College of Letters and Science double major, again, in that 4-year time span. Next question. It says, how accessible or available are your classes? Good question. I know that the big issue has always been about accessibility, availability. Do I graduate in 4 years or 2 years if I come in as a transfer student? And the answer is we have the courses you need to graduate on time. We offer the courses you need, maybe not in the time you want them. So it's not uncommon to see a student be really mad because they have to go to 8 a.m. class. Yes, people, 8 a.m. is a valid time to take a class in college, but you will find that those classes are there for you. Now, one of the things that I've told students in the past, and I don't know if I said it here, so let me repeat it. If you are a science major, or pre-med is your ambition, you should apply as a science. At UCSB, in the admissions process, it has no bearing whatsoever, but when it comes to class enrollment, science curriculum has priority with science majors. So if I'm undeclared, I have to wait for all the biology, chemistry, physics, engineering students to take science, and if there's still space, then I can apply. So that's one of those things that keeps you on track to graduate on time. Let's see, I'm interested in your dance program. Tell me more about the audition. Oh, of course. So going back to your timeline, when it comes to the University of California, the timeline is set where you're applying again in November. So you're going to submit that application in November. And then if you do, and we have an audition, so dance and music have auditions, you're going to see on the application itself, it will tell you, hey, auditions required. Click this link for more details. So click the link. Okay, and when you do, it'll take you to our either music or our dance page. It will share the audition dates, which typically are late January, early February on the UCSB campus. If you do not have the option to come to campus during that time, you can send in a tape. Just realize that we consider our auditions two ways. We consider you are auditioning for us, but we're also auditioning for you. So in our dance program, for example, our audition in the morning, you're watching us dance and our students dance. You're talking to faculty. They're telling you their mantra. And then in the afternoon, you dance for us and we judge your ability, your skill, your talent, your potential. So we hope that you're able to make it in person. Let's see. I've got one last question, and that last question is, for personal statements, what other types of themes have been used for prompt 1? Oh, everything and anything, you guys. I've heard my world is cheerleading. I've heard that I love talking to animals, and I'm going to be a veterinarian, and my world is all things animals. My world is video games. I've really seen everything. There's no wrong answer in this regard as long as you talk about yourself. Those are how you have to answer that question. And if you do, then you're going to do a good job. Now, I want to bring up, oops, I missed the slide, so let me bring this up. I do want to bring up, again, the application assistance. So if you have questions on the application, November 28th, 29th, and 30th, this is who you're going to call because our campuses will be closed. Santa Barbara will be closed. Realize that the application is available right now for the class of 2014 on that website, www.universityofcalifornia.edu/apply. And the application is open now, but the submit button is not there. I will repeat, the submit button is not there, people. It will open, the submit button will magically appear November 1st at midnight Pacific time, and it will disappear after 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on November 30th. That UC application is submitted, and if you send it to Santa Barbara, then I will send you a confirmation note saying, hey, I got your application at Santa Barbara, thank you. And if you don't get that in late December or the first 2 weeks of January, call me. Email me. This is the University of California email account, UCSB for me at sa.ucsb.edu. You have an open invitation, guys, to also visit our campus at any time. If you're visiting campus, we hope that you will join us Monday through Friday. Hopefully you'll join us for one of our walking tours. We have a tour at noon and one at 2 p.m. Also note that in April, we'll have tours on Saturdays. If you're looking at UCSB and you're like, okay, I'm coming tomorrow, I apologize, our reservation calendar is down, so you will have to do a few extra things, but no, we will accommodate you on a walking tour of campus and pending space on an admissions presentation as well. If you want more details about Santa Barbara, follow us on Facebook, Twitter. Note our YouTube channel has great videos that you can see our wonderful students. We are unfortunately at the end of our presentation, so I want to thank you for learning more about University of California, Santa Barbara. Realize that we want you to be part of our Gaucho family, and we wish you all the best of luck. Take care, everyone.